All right. So that was just 4 years, and it was 10 years later before you got hooked on academe?
Oh, 6 years later.
6 years later, okay. So do you want to maybe talk about what attracted you to academic family medicine, or what was driving you? You seemed, I think I remember when I spoke to you, you felt a kind of ambivalence about it. But.
Actually, after the 5th year in Tavistock, which would be 1 year after the exam, I got invited to do an academic locum at Western.
Oh, okay.
They had a fellow at the Vic Family Medical Center who was returning to England, so they needed someone to fill in for 7 months.
Oh, okay.
So that was a very interesting experience, but the politics turned me off. And I still had a feeling I hadn't done all the kinds of things that I wanted to do in a rural practice.
Oh, okay.
To prepare me better to be a teacher.
All right. So you left.
so at the end of the 7
Yeah,
months,
right.
Although they were encouraging me to stay,
Right.
I went back to Tavistock and got involved in the design and building of a new clinic.
Oh, okay.
There were 5 of us working in a small office that was built for 2. We had 4 examining rooms. So it meant we had to split up our time.
Right.
Some of us would do hospital stuff and house calls in the morning, and others would do them in the afternoon. And the other half of the day you'd have at least 1 examining room.
Okay. Lucky.
So we built this fancy office that had 18 examining rooms.
Wow. Amazing. Good. What brought you back to academics?
Well, right from the beginning, when I first started in Tavistock, I was involved with medical students.
Okay.
In fact, the first medical student arrived in July of the year that I started.
Great.
And then we got more and more involved with med students in the clerkship.
Mm-hmm.
So at one point we had a clerk for 1 month, every month of the year.
Okay.
And I was really enjoying that. And then the department got involved in a project to have residents spend a whole year in a practice after internship.
Oh, right. Okay.
And Tavistock was one of those places. So I was really enjoying that, and then I got invited to come back to Western. In fact, Paul Newell invited me back, and we had done some things together.
Right.
So I thought, well, this is a good time to do that.
Okay. You felt good at that point. The politics, academic politics, were the thing that turned you off before. But obviously what you enjoyed was working with the students and residents. And okay. So how did you cope with that when you went back to Western?
There were some difficulties in the first few years. And then I moved from the first practice I was in to Byron.
Right.
And that worked really well. I was there for over 20 years, I think.
Right. More a community practice than an academic practice in a way, or?
No, it was quite, well, John Sangster and I were quite academic. The other 2 were
Right.
really good family docs who just moved their practice a few blocks from where they had been for many years.
Oh, okay.